Hey, welcome back to another Black City Coffee vlog. In this video, um, we are moving, relocating. Top 5 moments that were the most impactful to me from 2019 to 2023. Not kind of counting this year because this year is kind of a super wash. It was very regular. It was very slow anyway. I guess, you know, uh, we were going to move anyway, so it kind of worked out. Okay, so my top 5 moments. Number one, the first vlog that I made about coffee was about the hot top back in May 15, 2019. And it was long. It was like 30, 40 minutes. And I had taken up coffee roasting because I wanted to save money. So after spending, what was that? $1,600 or $2,000, whatever it was. Yeah, we really saved money there, and I started to learn how to roast coffee. And my thinking was, if I was going to roast coffee, I wasn't going to do it on like a Gene Cafe or a popcorn popper because I like wanted we had because we're entrepreneurs already, right? We kind of you kind of get that bug. You're like, what else can I turn into a business? So we definitely had that going in our mind, and that's why I chose the hot top because it mimicked um the roasters that people were using in cafes. It's a drum roaster, da da da. After all my like research online, and so we picked that. And so I made a video about it because I found that there was some issues with it, and I was having trouble finding um, consistent information online, and nobody was really vlogging about it except for like this one creator called Napo Barista. But um, it only helps so much, right? Like y'all know, if you keep asking me questions and stuff, because it's like that. It's an evolving thing. Coffee roasting is, and there's always these very unique things that happen to you at the roaster, and you're like, dude, how do I deal with this, fix this, whatever it is. So me making that vlog about the hot top was me trying to, just scratch that itch. I didn't see a lot of content out there. I already was very comfortable making content, so I did it. Number two, most impactful moment, obviously upgrading to the Mill City Roaster 1 kg. That was so exciting when I was selling orders on my hot top on Etsy, and it took me an hour to make 1 pound of coffee, one bag. Like I was selling 1 pound bags. I thought that's how it went. It took so long, right? So I was like, okay, I really like this. And my husband was like encouraging me, and he was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get you a bigger machine. How much does that cost? Oh, it just costs another 10 grand. I mean, that's really how much it came out to me. It was like 8 grand for the roaster and like 2 grand for the venting in the end. It's fine. But it's funny because like I always laugh because the whole reason why we even started talking about it is because I wanted to save money on coffee. So we all know how that went down. So yeah, upgrading was awesome. I started vlogging about that too. It felt cathartic because I was so hyped, and I had this issue with this third party shipping company that was not really a reflection of Mill City Roasters, but I was really frustrated with them. So I was vlogging about it, and I was like, well, if I vlog about it, maybe that would urge Mill City Roasters to not use these people in the future because this is so annoying. And that opened up a conversation with the owner of Mill City Roasters, which is Steve Green. And that started just this, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be like a lifelong friendship, which is awesome. And so we get the Mill City Roaster into the garage. I'm roasting. I don't even have proper venting set up yet, but I'm like seasoning the thing already. I'm so excited. And because I made content and I was so like transparent, I guess, about everything that I do, it opened that door even wider, I think, with Mill City Roasters, and started to they invited me into the Roaster 101, and this was during the pandy. So during the pandy, you know, we all weren't going out, and it was perfect because I was so comfortable with that, just doing everything online. And so I would record it. I would do like their class cuppings, their online class cuppings. I would record everything and I would try to learn and all that stuff. And that's really not a replacement for, I would say, in-person hands-on training. It's not a replacement for it because I was still, I think, quite lost, which we'll get to the last impactful moment until I started to feel not lost. So I was still feeling very lost, but still very excited, still having a lot of fun. And that took us to number 3 most impactful moment during my time roasting, which was I fell mountain biking. I broke my back, I broke my neck, I broke 2 ribs. It was very traumatic. And that was like at the time where I was really starting to roast a lot more and take orders online and all that stuff, and really, really getting to the swing of things with the Mill City Roasters kind of set up in my garage and all that stuff. And then I fall. And then I'm taken out completely, right? Just incapable of moving for a good, let's call it like 2.5 months, perhaps. I don't know, maybe 2 months solid. I was still like moving and stuff like that. But Steve Green from Mill City Roses was one of the first people to write me this incredible, supportive, emotional letter, email while I was still in the hospital. He contributed to our GoFundMe. He got a lot of people knowing about our GoFundMe during the time when we weren't making a lot of money because of the pandy. So we were unsure of how much this was going to cost us, and it was a lot. Obviously, we had insurance, but it was still a lot, you know. So I was really, really just blown away and touched by so many people who were supportive of my recovery and of Black City Coffee in general. And yeah, that was really impactful, because after that, after making it through that, and I survived everything, I had the function of all of my legs and all my limbs and the function of my brain. And I was like, just so spurned on to go and learn more and be better, serve more. I was so grateful to, just like this immense feeling of gratitude, I remember. And I, anything I could give, I wanted to give, you know, at that time. And I just felt like, oh, wow, this is, you know, God giving me another chance. I've been in some other close calls like that too, but it was just like, wow, another chance. Awesome. Like, I don't want to waste this. And that was a really, really impactful way at how I thought about how it was going to show up in Black City Coffee, because I think I definitely had this undercurrent of very purist, a sort of arrogance. I don't think I was terrible, but I don't think I was my best self yet. And that's what coffee and working with coffee and being in the world of roasting really brought out in me, really developed a more humble and a more grateful person. And I think brought me to this point now, which is like, how could I be of service more? And a lot of it now, as I look back to it, is just kind of also bringing me back into faith and honestly, like being a believer in Christ. And that was surprising. Honestly, like it does feel a little weird to say that out loud, but the more that every day that I'm here, I feel like that's getting more apparent and more obvious thing for me to say and to give what I have done in this world, that glory to my God, basically. It's so crazy. Anyway, so number 4, big one. After going through all of that and feeling like I was so like excited to roast when I came back from the fall. I was like, yeah, let's do this. And the more I, you know, stuck in there, I was like, I don't think this is my purpose to pursue this as a business. And I've had many patterned things like this happen to me in my life where I was great, like I was seeking out ambition and seeking out sales and numbers and that sort of thing. It always made me feel like not me. And pursuing it in the way that I had been pursuing it up until that point was not true to my true purpose, I think. And I was able to finally, without fearing a judgment of my husband or fearing the judgment of others, or like this feeling of like this pressure of like, I'm supposed to do this now because I'm quote unquote good at it. Yeah. I just said no. I was like, no, I don't think this is my purpose, to pursue coffee as a business and like open a roastery and do the cafe thing. And I really, really gave it a good thought though. I really, really tried to nurture that idea and grow in the way that I could. But I think in the end, it ended up not being for me, and pursuing it as a hobby, as I say in that video where people were kind of like, what the heck? What do you, what? This doesn't make any sense. You know, I was finally okay with like, it may not make sense to you, but it makes perfect sense to me, 100%. And just being able to say that, I think, out loud was really freeing for me, liberating. And it took off so much of this like mask that I was wearing. And definitely dealing with that imposter syndrome, because I was so afraid to let people try my coffee. At the same time, I was like, please try my coffee. Just weird imposter syndrome. Faith has gotten me through this as well, where it's like, oh, I don't have to please you. Cool. Oh, wow. Thank you. But I don't have to please you. But yeah, that was a big deal. Like, okay, I know now. I'm really glad I tried. I'm really glad that I really gave it a good shake, and we thought about it, and I even planned it. We did some numbers, we talked to some serious people, and I was like, yeah, I don't think that's for me. I know that's not for me, you know, at least not this time. I always like to say that, but at this time, because I don't know the future. At this time, at that time, at this time now, currently, I'm making this video. It's not for me. Okay. Fifth thing, most impactful moment, training with Clatch. So, like I said before, right? Like doing the whole online thing, it's a great start. Watching YouTube videos, it's a great start, at least, right? Like getting everything you can for free as much as you can, because this stuff can get really pricey. And if you end up being somebody like me, it's like, oh, it's not for me. I'm glad I didn't spend like thousands and thousands of dollars. I did spend thousands of dollars, but anyway, yeah, training with Clatch really clarified some things for me that I was really struggling with, in terms of just getting an understanding of the roast and what I wanted to do at the roaster. You know, all y'all will develop your own style based upon the capability of your machine, whether that's a popcorn popper, an aleo bullet, kaleidoscope, electric, gas, big boy, little boy. You know what I mean? Like, it's machine operation, and then it's cupping, and that's what roasting is. That's what I feel, which is a sentiment, you know, kind of washing over me by, firstly, from Mike from Clatch, the Mill City Roaster crew. They're very much in that belief as well. Is like, we're operating machine. We cup it, we taste what it needs, we go back to the machine, we roast it, we find what we want in the cup, right? And for the most part, like that's what people are doing. You know, I'm excluding talking about like awards and competing and stuff like that. Okay. And yeah, just like getting that clarity about what I'm doing at the cupping table, how am I translating that back to the roaster and making the roaster do what I needed to do so I can taste the things that I want to taste in the cup later on. Learning a sort of like predictive concept about roasting, where it's like, okay, I'm doing this because it's going to end up here. It's like this sort of like predictive thing, and figuring out where certain coffees are going to land, like getting to know different processes and how they react with your roaster and whatnot. And all those little like idiosyncrasies that you can only get by putting in the work and the time. And that includes, you know, cupping and sharing it with others, and letting the cup sort of speak for itself, and letting go of your own ego in the process. And I find that most of the people that I talk to are in roasting, specifically, or cupping and things like this, like in coffee, you can just tell that they've been through that process of like letting go of the ego, not bringing themselves in too much. I know that sometimes actually there's still some ego there with everyone. We're human, but for the most part, everyone that I've ran into, they're like, the coffee has won again. You know what I mean? Like there's that feeling of like, ah, I don't know better than this coffee. You know what I mean? It's not about me. It's about the coffee. And I really like that. I like that impact that it's had upon me. And I've really tried to take a lot of the lessons that I've learned so far, um, from coffee and into the rest of my life. Um, and I'm sure if you stick with it, you'll probably find really similar things, similar patterns in your life or lessons. Let me know in the comments if you feel the same. So yeah, the reason why I'm kind of making this video, it kind of feels like goodbye, and it kind of is. And I don't know when I'll be back making content anyway. Okay, we figured out a way to, I think, roast in any situation. I have two situations. I can keep my roaster here, and commute to this roaster. All right. Or I can go for it with the shed set up in the new place and chance it. I mean, I'm chancing it here too, honestly. I'm chancing it here too. But I try to be a good neighbor. I try to roast when nobody's home. I try to be quick with it, So I'm really trying not to be a nuisance. I hope that's okay with the new place. However, if that is not the case, I'm just going to see what happens, and I'm not promising anything. I am semi ready to let go of coffee in this sort of way where I'm making content, or I feel sort of obligated to make content, until I feel 100% confident that I could do that. You know what I mean? So it all really just depends, but I'm just giving a heads up because maybe some of y'all have been expecting it. So I just want to, adjust expectations. So yeah, that's it. 5 most impactful moments. Um, it's it's good for one to reflect back on those things, and again, you know, celebrate your wins, big and small. For some of y'all who hit me up in the DMs, I'm so proud of your progress. I love seeing your stories. I love seeing you guys win. I love seeing you guys open cafes, cup things for the first time. Get ready to go and cup at a class for the first time and stuff like that. I should make a video about the cringe things I did on my first cupping class, if I could share. I'll do that when I think somebody's sending me some coffee to cup, so I'll talk about that then. But yeah. Okay. Good things. I'll see you in the next one. I think this is not the last vlog for a while. Maybe it's the cupping one. But yeah, I just wanted to reflect on that now that the coffee lab is like kind of empty. It stirred some things. I was like, oh man, yeah, we did some cool stuff here, and I wanted to share that. All right, we'll see you in the next one.